In this video, I'm editing in a Tesla, using that center console to edit a video on Premiere Pro. But before we get to that, I gotta tell you why I'm doing this. This is my friend Ben, and about a year ago, he told me that he was getting married, and I couldn't be happier for him, until I got a text from him asking whether the wedding invitation had come in the mail and why I hadn't responded. I checked everywhere in my house for this letter, but I hadn't received anything. So I texted him back asking when and where the wedding was going to be happening. And that's when everything took a turn for the worse. The wedding was not only taking place on the other side of the country in a city called Exeter, but it was happening in just 2 days' time. Now, obviously, I'm not going to miss one of my best friend's weddings. But the bigger problem was that staying somewhere like Exeter is really expensive. And of course, I have no money, because I've spent it all on getting an Xbox Series X to play Starfield. Was it worth it? Yeah, it's okay. So now I'm gonna have to make some money to afford to go to Ben's wedding. And somehow I'm gonna have to make that money whilst on the go. Because it's gonna take ages to get to Exeter. And there's only one way I know how to make money. And that is, of course, editing. In other words, I'm gonna have to edit on the move. And what better way to do exactly that than in a brand new Tesla? You of course know what a Tesla is. Invented by Elon Musk, the Twitter guy, it's officially a household name. Hell, you'd even find my grandma driving one of these. But I don't own a Tesla myself, and I realize as an editor that I'm missing out on an epic on-the-go editing machine.
Get in. Oh, I thought you were gonna go past real quick.
So I took it upon myself to borrow my friend's Tesla and use it as an on-the-go editing machine.
I got a Tesla! Just kidding, I borrowed it. This is borrowed.
Now I have my hands on a Tesla Model 3. And thank God I do, because I need to get to this wedding fast. But before we drive off, we need to work out exactly how we're gonna actually edit inside this Tesla. And that is where this excellent infotainment system comes in super handy. Just like we did in the Minecraft video, we can set up a virtual computer through a web link, which we can then access through the infotainment screen browser.
We did it. It's so slow. Oh, it's so slow.
Meaning that we can use Premiere Pro on the go. A quick shout out to Orion Gamercat for helping me set this up again. Now that's easy enough, but because we're in a Tesla, there are a few major things that worry me about this.
This is gonna take me 6.5 hours.
Firstly, the car battery. I don't want to get stranded in the English countryside and be unable to drive anymore. And most importantly, unable to edit. Luckily, there are some charging stations along the route that we're taking, so that should be massively helpful. Secondly, I'm not going to have any Wi-Fi, which means that I'm going to have to end up tethering my phone to the car using 5G, 4G, or whatever's available. And unfortunately, as we travel through some of the old English countryside, that could become a real problem, but we'll just have to wait and see. Next, I'm gonna have to get an actual editing job to earn some money. And for this, I'm gonna use my undercover account, Arnold Winkovich, in my Discord server. That's right, he's back for more. And since editing inside Minecraft, he's been doing a lot of training in Premiere Pro. So hopefully, we'll get a job pretty quickly. And just like that, a user by the name of YT Speedy has offered me a job straight away. And it's a pretty simple video of him talking about a sound effects pack. He only wants it to be a minute long and he's paying me $40. Now this should go a long way to paying for somewhere to stay, but looking around online, Exeter is maybe a bit too expensive. So I'm actually going to be staying in a nearby seaside town called Lyme Regis, which has some awesome scenery as it's right by the seaside. This is going to be one epic trip. So off I went, brimming with excitement, ready for the quest, blissfully unaware of the difficulties to come.
So it's actually taken me ages to get ready for this. I've had to iron my shirt, get my wedding suit together, and also set this thing up to edit. So now I gotta get there in 24 hours, as opposed to 48. That's half the time limit that I thought I'd have. So really, really up against the clock right now. And I've got to stop to edit at some point. Yeah.
So yes, I had half the time that I was prepared for, but I was still ready for the challenge and enjoying the driving experience. There's honestly nothing like it. The Tesla is crazy. The acceleration is rapid. And also when I take my foot off the accelerator, it has something called regenerative braking.
This thing is crazy to drive. I love it so much. But I keep looking over at the battery meter, and the deeper we get into the countryside, the more worried I'm getting about actually running out of charge and not being able to find a power station.
And so that's exactly what I set out to do next. Find a charging station en route and begin editing. Luckily, the service station that I pulled into next had an EV charger right there. So I parked up, began editing, and let the car charge. Now, editing on this thing was an absolute nightmare. The first thing I noticed was the severe input lag because we were doing this over a 3G, 4G connection from my phone. This doesn't bode well for the future of editing on the Tesla, but for now it's gonna have to do. I also can't drag and drop things, which is a fundamental thing that you have to be able to do in order to edit smoothly on Premiere Pro. So I actually ended up going into the Tesla settings to see if I could change anything to make it easier for me, but nothing helped. It was only at the end of this editing session that I realized you could double click and then drag and drop. So in this session of waiting for the car to charge, I got literally nothing done. But I did get the project set up, I got all the assets into the project so that the next time I start editing, I'm ready to go, and at least I know I can drag and drop. Pause the video, wait, hold on. Are you subscribed? You should subscribe. I think it's gonna be the best thing for you. I think it'll be great for your mental health. I think it's just gonna benefit you. Also, you should sign up to my newsletter where you'll receive brand new information about courses, presets, and other cool things that I'm getting up to just for you. I'll leave the link in the description, so go and check that out. Please? Thank you. All right, you can play the video again. Play.
All right, we finished editing for now. We're gonna unplug the car, we're gonna carry on with the trip.
With only 18 hours left, I was exhausted. The day of driving had completely knocked me out. But I was determined to get to Lyme Regis and finish some of the editing that I'd started. I couldn't end the day with nothing to show. Finally, after hours of driving, I arrived in Lyme Regis. The ocean was beautiful, but I couldn't rest yet. I needed to get on with the job in hand.
Mr. Beast thumbnail.
I had so much editing to do that the first thing I did when I arrived was edit. Now, of course, I wasn't going to make much progress, but at least I could cut up some footage in preparation for the night's worth of editing ahead of me. As daylight was coming to a complete end, I did need to actually find the accommodation and bring all my film stuff so I don't leave it in the car overnight.
Let's go check into the accommodation, then we'll carry on. Oh, wow. Pretty nice.
Fortunately, the accommodation wasn't too far away, but it was getting really dark by the time I arrived. And now that we're here, it's time for the accommodation tour, baby. MTV, welcome to my accommodation for the night. This is my bed.
We'll have like a text pop up on screen saying like bed, like flashing.
Bed. Flat screen TV. Toilet. This is where I poop. And where I pee sometimes. Mainly poo. Walk-in shower, very recently used by someone else, not me. Haunted child's bedroom. If you don't have one of those, then what are you, poor? Oh, and my favorite part of this whole room, motivation. Every day I wake up here, once I get motivated, I start my days right. So after seeing the accommodation, I was back out in the car and editing until the late hours of the night.
It's gotten real dark real quick, and we got here a lot later than we wanted to. I'm gonna have to make up for lost time and do some editing while we're here, and then see Lyme Regis in the morning instead. Wish me luck.
Now let me be honest with you guys. It was boring. I was just chopping up footage and rearranging it all night. I just had to keep telling myself that it would be worth it tomorrow. It was a new day, and I was feeling pretty hopeful. I got up super early in the morning so that I could get some shots of Lyme Regis to show you guys, and then get myself back to the car so we could continue the journey to Exeter. Now, Lyme Regis is a really beautiful place, and I just wish that I could have spent longer there. So having a really quick explore around, I only had 4 hours now to get to the wedding.
It's not going to take long to get to Exeter, but I've got a lot of editing to do, and I want to do it in here. So we're going to have to stop on the way, find somewhere to do it, as well as change into my wedding suit. Being in the West Country, there's not many chargers around, so I'm a little bit worried about my battery right now. It's not looking so good. Haven't managed to charge it overnight. No charges. I just really hope that I can actually make it to the wedding on this charge.
So with not too far to go now, I had to find a spot to sit down and edit from. Now my number one priority is finding a place with phone service so that I could actually edit. And in the heat of the moment, instead of going down the main motorways to get to Exeter quickly, I took the country roads by the seaside, hoping that I could find a spot with good views where I could edit for a couple of hours before the wedding. But little did I know, I'd be getting myself into all sorts of sticky situations. The countryside around here is rough, and I mean rough. The roads are extremely narrow, which, for a surprisingly big car such as the Tesla, is not the best driving experience, especially when there are giant tractors coming at you and not slowing down.
Should we edit here?
Thinking that I got mega lucky, I found a spot right on a cliff with the most amazing view. It was time to get my grubby fingers all over this screen again.
We've just parked up, we got a lovely view. No service, so we're gonna have to move on, find somewhere else.
To be honest, this was a bit of a bummer, and I had to get a move on straight away as I just didn't have time to look around even more. So I planned to go through the next major town along and hedge my bets that there would be a place to stop and edit there, hopefully with phone service.
Hey, do you know directions to the nearest cliff with signal? Thanks anyway.
And the search was on. I was really desperate to just find somewhere to edit.
No parking. Absolutely full. We're gonna have to move swiftly on.
It was extremely tight. With only a couple of hours left until the wedding, I needed to find a place to stop. Lucky for me, that town that I'd hedged my bets on had a place to stop just on the outskirts, with an absolutely beautiful view and a good phone service. Things were looking up, but I had to get a move on. I was slapping effects on their left, right, and center, all from my preset pack, making it a lot easier and saving me a lot of time. I won't lie, the video wasn't looking that great, but we had no choice at this point but to finish there and wrap it up.
Let's go, we gotta go. We gotta go right now. Put your seatbelt.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we're off. Alright, it's saying 30 minutes till we get there. Map says to go right. I don't like the look of this road.
The journey to Exeter from where we were in the middle of nowhere was really stressful, and I still had to get dressed for the wedding itself, so I had to find a place to stop, get dressed, render the video, and send it off.
Oh yeah, no worries.
I parked the car right in the middle of absolute nowhere. I unwrapped my perfectly ironed suit from earlier and started getting ready. I had to now render the video that I'd made in the Tesla and send it to the client.
No!
I left the guy a message saying that I was sorry it was shit, and I began the final stretch of the journey to Exeter.
Seatbelt, seatbelt.
To say I was rushing would be an understatement. Exeter was finally within reach, and all of this rushing, driving, and editing was all about to pay off.
Thank God we made it with some juice. The tiniest bit of juice, but juice nonetheless. And you know how we feel about juice, ladies and fins. Come on!
I was late, but not by much at all. And after parking up the Tesla, I needed to run.
Let's go.
All I had to do was get in before the ceremony began. I followed my phone directions, and finally, the cathedral was right there in front of me. As with all great adventures,
Ben. Hey man.
things
Listen, I know we're late.
don't always go to plan.
No.
And by not going to plan, I mean
What's going on?
not even happening.
The invitation. It wasn't for 2023.
You joking?
I'm not joking.
Wait, so it's for next year?
It's for next year. It's for 2024. The wedding is next. This time, right here, next year. Well, that's embarrassing. So we're a year early. That's fine. But you know what? As far as this challenge goes of can you edit in a Tesla? The answer is yes, you can. Yeah, you can. It's not easy. In fact, it's incredibly hard. But you can do it. Would I advise it? No. No, I wouldn't advise it. But if you have a Tesla, then sure, go for it. Why not? You spent a lot of money on it, make the most of it. But yeah, I won't lie, guys, I feel a little bit deflated right now. I don't really know if the video that I sent off was good enough. And we completely missed the wedding by a year. I don't know, man, I was expecting a wedding. I wanted to, you know, like party it up a little bit. But now we're here and nothing. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? 0 to 60. 3, 2, 1. I thought it was gonna be lightweight.